Today starts the first day of rookie camps, and I got some news that happened yesterday. We made the cuts down to get below 90. We're below 90, and a little bit of the schedule was leaked or spoiled or whatever you want to say. So we're going to jump into it right after this swirling DDW image. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, we're going to be talking about who got cut, interesting little tidbits about that, and then the schedule was kind of somewhat leaked. I knew that the overseas games was going to be released prior to the schedule being released on the 14th. So we're going to talk about that second, and I will tell you if I'm going live or not. But real quick, I do have to shout out today's sponsor, and it's a sponsor that I love being a part of, and that is Clean the World. I've talked about them time and time and time again. They can, like, I cannot not talk about them enough, if that is proper English, because of what Sean Seipler and this great foundation does to get people. You know, you got the Wash Foundation that gets people clean water. Again, Clean the World gets them soap, toothpaste, backpack for kids that need it, whether it's a third world country, natural disaster, the homeless. He has been doing this for 16 years, countless countries, millions of people. Fantastic person, fantastic organization. Again, go check them out, cleantheworld.org. Also check out the other foundation, the Wash Foundation, that again gets people water, gets third world countries water. He recently, last year, went, I think it was in Africa, a country in Africa, that he got a well built for them because they had no clean water. Like, really, really great stuff. Go check him out, and shout out to Sean and Clean the World. So we're going to start first and foremost with the cuts. So yesterday, by today, the Miami Dolphins needed to get below or at 90, and they were at 94 on their active roster. And I know one of you guys in the comment section, I commented back, we're having a little dialogue, asked that, do the rookies not count until they're signed? No, I think the miscommunication or the confusion was that when it comes to the cap space, because if you remember yesterday, I said the rookies' contracts will equate to $4.821 million in cap hits, because they only count the top 51 contracts. So if you're like below like 1.2 million, it doesn't really count towards the cap. So all like our 5th and 6th and 7th round picks aren't really going to count or cost towards that. So I think that's where maybe the miscommunication was, because regardless if these rookies are signed or not, they do count towards the 90, because literally if you go to the Miami Dolphins site and count everyone on the roster, which the rookies are included, you get to the total that we're at. So the rookies do count towards the 90, but they don't count towards the cap necessarily. Hopefully that clears that up for you. So the roster moves. The Dolphins have waived Ryan Cooper Jr., Neil Farrell, Jason Hines, and Blake Ferguson. Now, yesterday, this all happened yesterday. Fun fact, I went to upload and release my videos like I normally do. Like, this one will be released at 7 a.m. and it didn't release. So then I was like, crap, why isn't it releasing? And then I released it at 1 after these moves were already made. But in that video, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they move on from Blake Ferguson, because they brought in an undrafted free agent long snapper from, I think, Alabama. Go back in the notes, dog. This is why I write everything down. Yes, Alabama. His name is Keeneland Hibbett. Neeland. I think it's Neeland Hibbett. Long snapper out of Alabama. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Blake Ferguson might be a casualty of being released. And he was. Neil Farrell being released is interesting to me, because I still was very apprehensive and nervous over the depth of our defensive line. And now it got even smaller. And yes, we did bring in some, undrafted free agents, but we still need help on that D-line. So I didn't think that they would touch the defensive line. Again, Neil Farrell. I told you guys that I could see them going at the corner position, because they have a lot, and it's a lot of Jags. And if you don't know what JAG stands for, it's just a guy. So I was, that. And Jason Hines, I was surprised by, because they brought him back, and they talked about liking him, but obviously they probably like Keon Smith and some of the other guys, Liam Eichenberg, better. But so they get down to 4. So they released 4. We were sitting at 94. They released those 4, so we're sitting at 90. But we still have Teron Armstead, whose retirement hasn't gone through, and Gross Matos, who is exempt because he's an overseas player. So technically, the Miami Dolphins are sitting at 89, and then when Armstead retirement goes through, they'll be at 88, leaving 2 roster spots open. And then when and if Jalen Ramsey gets traded, that's 3 roster spots. Hopefully 2 corners and a safety get brought in, or maybe more defensive linemen. I know Jadeveon Clowney was released yesterday by the Panthers. I think it was the Panthers. And the Dolphins have been trying to get him to come on this team forever, so we'll see about that. I don't think so. I think we're good at pass rusher. I think we need more D-line help. But that was the cuts for yesterday. And again, the only one that surprised me was Neil Farrell. Outside of that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So there's your cuts. There's that. Now, the schedule release. So the NFL kind of slowly started leaking out, who's playing where and who's doing what and all that jazz, right? So this is what was released yesterday. Let me make it a little bigger for you guys. So these are the London games. You're going to have week 5 is going to be Minnesota. It would be Minnesota heading to Cleveland, but obviously it's over in the UK. So it's week 5 is Minnesota, Cleveland. Week 6 is Denver Jets, and week 7 is LA Jags. The Jaguars are going to be permanently moved over to the UK. I'm calling it now because they have played so many UK games. Now, normally, when you play overseas, you get a bye week afterwards. Now, I know last year, week 1, which was, I think, the Packers played over in the UK, they didn't get a bye week because they played on a Friday. And I think there might have been other teams who didn't get a bye week afterwards, but more likely than not, I'd say like 95% of the time, you get a bye week afterwards, which kind of sucks for, these teams because you get early bye weeks. So it's slowly starting to trickle out the potential, games. And again, these are rumors, these are sources, so things could change. I remember a few years ago, there was a rumor that the Dolphins are going to play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I was excited about that. Kind of, but not, because I live streamed the games, and then I'm like, oh, my Thanksgiving might be ruined. But these are rumored, but it might actually happen. So with the UK games being released, this was released. The Miami Dolphins will host Washington Commanders. Some people thought it was going to be the Bengals on November 16th, week 11 in Madrid, Spain, per sources. Now, I don't like what I do with the schedule release is I go completely dark on social media on the 14th. I don't go on Twitter. I don't check my comment section because it slowly gets leaked here and there. Who's playing the Monday night games, who's playing the Thursday night games, who's playing the Sunday night games, where the bye is. And then it's like slowly leaked. Dolphins are opening here, and then they're playing that. And I just want to, with fresh eyes, sit down at the computer, type in NFL.com, boop, it pop up, and me look at it and be like, and give you my instant reaction. So I don't think I'm going to live stream it because I know for a fact if I put up the live stream and then I hop in, people in the chat are going to ruin it for me. Not saying they do it maliciously. Not all of them will do it maliciously, but some will. And I don't want it to be ruined for me. I just kind of want to see it with fresh eyes. So I won't be live streaming it. I do apologize if you want me to, but I like the fun of not seeing it for the first time. Yeah, look at the first comment from this Aussie guy. I'm sorry, Bengal fans. Why? I don't get that. So the Miami Dolphins supposedly are going to be playing in Madrid, Spain, which I think is a little bit further than London, if my geography brain works, because London's kind of here, and I think Madrid is... No matter. On the week 11, November 16th. Now, again, normally 95, I'd say even 90% of the time, you get a bye week after that because you have to travel over and then you got to travel back. And normally they'll give you a bye to relax and then get ready to run back into it. which is interestado. It's not a word. I just made it up. Because then that means that the Miami Dolphins will have their bye week on week 12. And I think, let me use my noggin. I think that the last week that you can have a bye week is like, let me see. I think it's like the 15th is the last week. I'm looking it up while I'm talking to you. No, not the 15th. 14th. 14th. The 14th is the last week you can have a bye week. Yes. So which means the Dolphins would have that's a good spot for me, the 12th, because, it's only 2 more weeks and that's it. I'd like the 10th, but again, if it is the 12th that the Dolphins get the bye week, I would actually kind of be happy about that. Now, again, you're looking at the 16th, which means that the Dolphins bye week would be the weekend before Thanksgiving. So they won't be playing the 23rd, and then you got Thanksgiving, and then they'll be playing the 30th, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, which kind of sucks because, in all honesty, that's probably the game I would have went to. I like to go to the Dolphins game in November because it's nice. Like last year, I went to the Dolphin game in November against the Raiders, and it was beautiful. It was 70, nice breezy, it was beautiful. Whereas the year before that, I went in October and I was melted. So that's probably the game I would have went to. But if they do play a game maybe October 26th or the 2nd, that might be the one I go to at home. I also would like to go to a night game. So Sunday night game, but also we kind of suck on prime time. So, but that is the rumor. Now, if it sticks, I don't hate it. I think it'd be a good game for Madrid and for the NFL Network to be to play. You have Jaden Daniels versus Tua. You got an up-and-coming Washington team facing a Dolphin team that you can say whatever you want about that. I think this would be a good matchup for TV, especially compared to, again, not knocking the other games, but these other ones are, this is not bad. Actually, you don't know what's going on here. You don't know what's going on here. And it's these home teams are just I think that's why they shipped them over to London, if I'm being honest with you. No offense to your team. But that's the rumor. I'd be happy with it. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Would you be happy with that being a week 11 game and then getting a bye on week 12? Do you think that the Dolphins will get a bye after that? Or do you think they'll be one of the few teams who don't get a bye after traveling overseas and they tell you tough noogies and kick rocks and you're going to play, in Buffalo week 12? Because you know how the schedule makers love to just, give us one. But that's it. That's all the spoilers I'm going to give you because I don't want to know anymore. I would love to see it again with fresh eyes. So on the 13th, you're going to get a schedule preview video from me talking about what I look for in the schedule, what I'm hoping for in the schedule. We're going to look at the opponents we're going to be facing and kind of give you an idea of who I want to face where and when and why and blah, 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 blah. That will be on the 13th. I don't think this weekend you're going to get camp videos or, breaking it down. I think Monday I'm going to recap the rookie camp because, again, today they're there. I talked to Omar Kelly and Alan Poupart with the Dolphin Collective before we went live, and they talk about the fact that one day they get to see the stuff for about 20 minutes, and then that's it. So there's not a lot to report on. So, again, I'll give you a recap on Monday of everything, if anything, Sunday, Mother's Day. To my patrons and my members, I'm going to have a video for you. It might already be out, so if you haven't yet, go check it out. And if you'd like to join the Patreon, it's linked in the description. And if you want to join the membership, hit the join button next to the subscribe button. I'm going to have videos out for you guys. I think it might already be out. Some little tidbit of information I think is very interesting, and I kind of want to divulge on a little bit. But other than that, again, comment below. What's your thoughts on the cuts? What's your thoughts on possibly a week 12 bye, playing in Madrid on week 11, facing Washington? Do you like that better or do you not like it? Comment below. I will get more into details on buys and all that stuff on the 14th when the schedule's released. But like usual, stay classy. F ends up.